What's up, team? All right, so we're going to get to this chart in just a minute because we are going to do a 1, 4, 5 chord progression. But first, a quick little story. I was down the street talking to my neighbor, Bruce. Now, Bruce is an older guy. He hasn't played guitar for very long, and so I just started to ask him. I get a lot of ideas for what to teach. And here I'm like, hey, Bruce, if I played A, D, E, do you know that that's a 1, 4, 5 chord progression? He's like, I have no clue what you're talking about. I said, okay, well, do you understand that you don't want to get stuck here your whole life with just these open chords? And I said, although these will always be home, a great player, more advanced, higher intermediate player uses a combination of all these different elements. Some all triads, bar chords, scales. He'd heard some of the terms, but he had no clue. So what we're going to do is we're going to help Bruce. We're going to help you. We're going to help me. We're going to get better together. So the open chords, and we are going to do a 1, 4, 5, A, D, E. A is the 1 chord, and if you notice on the top right of the chart, it'll stay consistent. I have written out an A major scale, okay? And then I have A, Roman numeral 1, D, Roman numeral 4, E, Roman numeral 5, all in uppercase because those come from the major scale. The 1, 4, 5 is always major, okay? So we're going to just do a really popular chord progression, but we're going to spice it up. So you see this first chart, this is an A open chord, okay? Now, this will always be home. I'm not saying this is just, you guys know, drop in the comments, we'll start getting shown these open chords right away. So if you see too, a lot of players get confused. You're playing the open A, E, A, C sharp, E. They think, well, I'm strumming 5 strings, there must be 5 different notes. So this is the theory part. Those are the notes that make up an A major triad. So A, C sharp, E. You see E happens twice and A happens twice. Okay, and below that on every chart, you're going to have the formula for all the triads that we're going to play in this chord progression. So there's your open chord, okay? So Bruce knew this. He knew an open A. Now I tend to play mine. I tend to bar it. I don't really ever get that high E in there unless I'm on an acoustic. It just depends on the voicing I want, okay? So let's go to the next chart. Whoop! And then we're going to give you some things to framework to make you better right now today, all right? So hit that like button if you're new. You know the drill. Boop. Love to keep you. Riff on that like button. Okay, D. So D, open D. So open D, okay? I asked Bruce, I'm all, do you know these? He's like, yeah, I know these. So I'm all good, Bruce. We're going to help you out, all right? Now, you've got to walk before you can run. So as we piece these together, these ideas, these are just frameworks. You be you. You be musical how you want to be musical. So look, D, A, D, F sharp. D, F sharp, A. See in the bottom left? That is the formula for a D major triad. That's the first, third, and fifth note from that scale. You don't need to know what that means, but if you do, great. But if you don't, keep coming back and I will make sure you learn. All right. So then Bruce, I said, do you know an E chord? And he knew that was actually, he told me that was the first chord he ever learned. So I played an open E. Now you strum all 6 strings. Look, 3 E's, a B, a G sharp, 2 B's, and a G sharp. So again, it's just all the notes in a triad. E, G sharp, B, bottom left. Okay. So I said, okay, why don't you play me a chord progression? I said, just do downstroke. So he went A, D, okay. We'll just keep the E chart up there like this. Okay. And I said, okay, do you want to stay stuck in that forever? And he said, of course not. But I said, hey, that's great. You're playing. Pat yourself on the back. Guitar's hard. And then I said, do you want to kind of see the next level? He said, yeah, of course I do. I said, okay. So I showed him this chart. I actually had my iPad down there, which is what I'm scrolling through now. Now this, he was a little more baffled. I said, okay, essentially on the top left here, you've still got the left of the neck. You still got the open chord A. I said, but now what I've done is I've given you the bar chord. He'd heard a bar chord. He's like, I'm terrible at playing them. I said, okay, well here's an A bar chord. And I kept the triad in blue, and I said, there's this thing, the triad lives inside the bar chord. So A, C sharp, E, okay? So you got the bar chord, triad, and then I said, there's actually a bunch more of these triads all over the neck. I said, but let's just do one more. So I showed him this position. What's kind of cool is he recognized that as the open D shape. This is where all those systems, the cage system, all that stuff, we all are taught different approaches, which is fine. We're all going to light bulb it in different ways over time, okay? So I said, okay, well, he's like, well, can you show me what you mean? How would you use that to spice it up? I said, okay, I'll go back and forth. This is kind of like more intermediate territory. And I'm not saying, again, it's very broad. I don't know. Some beginners go straight to bar chords. Some beginners never see triads. There's intermediate players that have never used triads. Well, watch. Bar chord triad. Open chord. These are all just the A's. We haven't even moved through the progression yet. D to E. Watch. Bar chord, triad. He really liked this one, which is why I show it so much. Bar chord, triad, okay, and then sweep that triad. Rhythm is king always. So I told him, I said, hey, Bruce, make sure no matter what you do, and this is for you too, make sure you always put rhythm at the peak. It's the peak of everything. So if your rhythm's starting to fall apart, your train's about to derail, you're putting too much in there. So bar chord, triad, bar chord, and then go to this triad. Because you're gonna see this is a logical progression of how you get better, and your guitar playing sounds more and just beautiful. It's just fun. It's gonna make it so much more fun for you. Bar chord, triad, open chord, triad, bar chord, triad, open chord, triad. Okay, bar chord, triad, bar chord, triad. I did try and show him that one, the bar chord to this triad, and then I threw out the word inversion, and his eyes went cross-eyed. I said, okay, we won't go there, but this is an inversion. So there's first and second. We'll go over that later. If you know, you know. It's just when you put a certain note in the triad as the lowest fundamental note. In this case, you can see it's E, A, C sharp. So bar chord, triad, bar chord, triad, bar chord, triad. Okay, you can go back and forth between triads. I'm just giving you ideas to try. You do what you do, okay? These are just the triads. Okay, now let's go to the next chart. Same thing. He got really curious. I showed him this chart. And there is a pink D on there. We'll get to that in just a minute. It's going to be on the next chart on the E2, okay? If you're confused, I can't help you. I can't help you if you don't communicate with me. So if you're like, you just sitting there, your keyboard's close by, right? Your phone, talk a message in there. Yo, Mr. Umwer, I don't get this. I will help you, okay? So there's that D open chord on the chart. And grab the chart. It's linked in the ebook, okay? Now the last page is going to be nuts, but don't worry. We'll cross that bridge in just a minute. Now right here, there is the bar chord D. Okay. Now you see how I have D, A, black, and D here. That's just, you see, and I kept the triad that lives inside the bar chord in blue. Okay. So there's your D. You just did this on A. Okay. Now you've got this barred triad right here. You see this on the 7th fret? You got A, D, F sharp. Now the reason I put the pink D there is because some of you, and this is a total beginner chord, you get taught that power chord. So you see that pink D right there on the 5th fret. Let me just explain real fast. A, D, F sharp. Normally you're just taught to play D, A, or D, A, D, but there's that whole, just kind of strum it, get your ear training, okay? And then the open chord. Now how could we do a little mini exercise with that? We're making music sort of, but not yet. Okay, watch. Bar chord, triad. Bar chord, triad. Okay, power chord, triad. Bar chord, triad. Open chord, triad. Open chord. Okay, so you see what I'm doing there? So I'm just creating all these little mini exercises that are combining the elements that are in the ebook that you're gonna grab linked below. Okay, again, all the information is consistent. Top right, again, remember, there's the A major scale. If you know that, great. If you don't, that's okay. We gotta connect it over time. Connect the dots, connect the dots. So again, do something. You could take this triad right here, and that is an inversion, because look, it's A, D, F sharp. So what's the third of a D major triad? There's your little quiz question. Drop it in the comments. You have all the information on this chart to answer that question. So one more time. What is the major third, or what's the third in a D major triad? It's all right there, so drop it in the comments. Okay, so watch. You know what's crazy about that? If you think about it, it sounds very musical, and I'm only playing stuff that's from a D triad. That's it. It's just all D stuff. Look. Bruce, I played that for him, and I'm like, do you think I'm playing any different chords? And he thought I was, and I said, no, I'm all playing everything. I'm only playing D, F sharps, and A's, and that's it. And he said, well, how are you doing that? And I said, well, because different triads, different areas of the neck are different flavors. It's just like being a chef or a cook in the kitchen. So look, D, triad, arpeggiate, which means to pick it. That is a killer move. We're gonna have to do a whole separate lesson with that pink D. Watch this. Let's just go over it real quick for fun. I got you here. So, look, hit that power chord. And then you can go like this, and then go up there on the A string on the 7th fret and slide up, and you can hit that triad right there. So it's you guys have heard this move a lot. Watch. Real slow. Kind of stab that triad on the upstroke. So there you go. Next chart, let's move on. Same kind of pattern here. And then we're gonna, so this is like intermediate stuff, high intermediate. I don't know, you guys, are you doing any of this stuff with triads and bar chords and open chords? Great guitar playing is when you blend them all musically with your highest level of musicality, and the only way to get better is to grow. So same thing, here's your E open chord, okay? Bruce is like, I know he knows that, that's the first open chord I was ever taught. I find it fascinating. What's the first chord you were ever taught? Drop that in the comments. Okay? Same thing, you've got the E power chord, so there's that pinky. And I gave you the same triad shape as the D, but it's 2 frets up, because now we're playing an E. B, E, G sharp. And then of course, bar chord to triad. So being musical, same concept. Watch this. And then when you start to really connect the dots and you see, I'll just throw in one quick little kind of advanced thing to really, where you keep spicing it up. And sometimes you want simple. Simple's beautiful, always. But like, you see this triad right here, okay? I'm just gonna tell you how my brain thinks, okay? Because it's not on the chart, but I know that right here is an E major scale, and it's beautiful. It's right, it flows right out of that triad inversion right there. B, E, G sharp, I go, boop, 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 boop. So watch this. I could go like this. Those were all E's, all E major triad runs. I might have thrown another note in from this major scale. Okay, but I'm trying to show you where you want to take this. This is where we're going. Okay, so hopefully that didn't load too much in your brain, because I'm going to put this next chart up. It's going to have everything. We're not going to look at this to use it. These are all separate. Now look at this page. Look at this chart here. Whoop. This is everything we just did. Now it's all crazy looking. And if I threw this up there to like you right away, you would run for the hills. You're like, what the heck is this? But this is everything that we just attacked broken down into layers. This is putting all the layers back together. Here's the whole enchilada. So let's see if we can actually kind of do some more intermediate to advanced stuff, but let's go through the whole chord progression. So A open, so let's see, and it doesn't matter how many bars, I'm just improvising. I didn't plan this out, so just gonna do the open chords. So I just did A, D, E. Didn't do anything with the triads, anything with the bar chord, so that was just A and D. I didn't make it through the whole progression. I'm just kind of spitballing. This is what you got to do. This is what they say, hey, don't noodle on the guitar. This is noodling in a way, but this is noodling with purpose. So we are actually taking all these elements, and I'm being keenly aware of, like, here's the triads, right? So A triad, D triad, E. You should definitely do that. Just walk it right up. You know the shapes. There's just one little tiny thing. I just used all the elements that I gave you in the ebook linked below. You've already downloaded that, right? Okay. So watch. These are just A's. D. E. Back to A. See, now that's what it is. That's where your guitar playing keeps ramping up in levels. So you guys know, always you're gonna use all of these elements. You just wanna have them at your beck and call when you want them. So, open chords are always home. These are never gonna fail you, okay? So one cool thing I've done in other videos, before we wrap this up, it's getting a bit lengthy, but this is good stuff that's gonna make you better, all right? And for the people that have left already, they're gonna suck. forever. No, maybe not. I'd like to dish out the truth that you gotta anchor in. Just do this and you're gonna get better. I'm not making these because they're not gonna give you anything to make you better. They will. And that's my biggest wish for you, is for you to feel the joy. You guys know when you get better at anything, you feel good. Put in the work. So let's see, what if we did, let's see, try. Just in this position right here between the 5th and like 10th fret, I just use pieces of what I should. Try it. There was that little move, I did it on E though. I did A triad, then I did this D triad, then I went to this E, or the pink note, the E, and then I slid in to the E triad and then back to A. Sounds really cool, just for funsies, watch. Inverted slide runs you do on the 4 and 5 chord right here. Just look, it's all right here. Bar, power chord E, slide in. And I know I tried to show this to Bruce, and I think his head spun around backwards, but he had a lot of fun at the end. So I said at the very end, even though I got this crazy chart up here that has everything on it, just take it one little piece. So if you're a total beginner and you're like, this dude's totally overwhelming me, I just want you to go A bar chord to try it. Because I'm going to hit this stuff, for those that have been on the channel for a while, from multiple angles over and over and over. Because we didn't even do any scale stuff. Like, what if you added in the A major scale? Fun. You just start experimenting around, bending strings, seeing what sounds cool. Solo with triads. See that? That's what's so fun about music. We're done here. You guys are amazing. Grab the ebook. Did you like this kind of lesson? You want me to expand on this? Now, I didn't make a jam track for you in this. I kind of want you to play with it. It's like a big lump of clay. 1, 4, 5, D. A, D, E. Okay? Read the stuff on the chart I put on there. You burn that in your brain. You want to know A, C sharp, E, A major triad, D, F sharp, A, D major triad, E, G sharp, B, E major triad. Then you want to know, we're going to keep building off of this. I'm going to keep looping back, of course. But that's it. All right. Drop jellyfish or your favorite sea creature in the comments. What are you having for dinner tonight? I'm gonna go to Zupa's and get a soup and salad. What are you having for dinner tonight? What'd you have for breakfast? It could already be past dinner time. Some of you are gonna watch this tomorrow and you're laying in bed, but drop a comment for Bruce. I'm gonna let him read them. You guys have anything you want to tell Bruce? You know, encouragement. I'm gonna encourage you. Keep going. Don't stop. Who can stop you? Only you. So you're not gonna stop. All right. Grab the ebook. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.